Welcome to the family office. Planning for the people who matter most.
Anyway,
like
when
school,
we talking about Israel, okay, and talking about Iran, and talking about the different Middle Eastern countries and everything that's happening with that war that's going on right now, President Trump is in a very, very big quagmire because I believe that he underestimated how the Iranians would respond. And I think that he felt that they would just turn over and just let him do what he wants to do because he knows he has the military might to take out their infrastructure and to take out their bridges and to take out their desalination plants and their oil wells and all this stuff. We definitely have the power to do that, the military might to do that. But if he actually went through with that, I think the world would begin to see the United States, as a real terrorist organization that needs to be reevaluated in terms of their friendship with us. And
almost like a pre-World War II Germany.
Yeah. And that's the biggest fear that I have. So I think he understands that. And I think he's playing a very dangerous game of chicken. And the dangerous game is that he's hoping that Iran looks at his words and his rhetoric as truth. And that, hey, if you don't do this, we're going to bomb, your effing bridges. Did you just see that on Easter Sunday, bro? Your president cursing up a storm. Like, that is so unpresidential. That's never happened before. And then he said something like, praise be to Allah. Like, bro, what are you doing? You're the president of the United States. There's a certain level of decorum and dignity that goes with the office. It's like a parent, doing crazy things around their kids. Like, there's certain things that you may do, but you don't do it around your kids because it makes them look at you differently. The world is laughing at us, I believe. But I don't want to go on a tangent. I want to come back to the war. I believe that when you look at the Strait of Hormuz, he vastly underestimated the importance of that and his ability to change the trajectory of history by using words and threats. Iran says, look, we understand, we control that choke point. And if you don't continue to do that, we're going to continue to bomb your allies in the region. And we're going to cut off all of those ships and none of them are going to get through. And if you keep doing it, gas is going to keep going up. But it's not just gas, Chris. It's also a liquid natural gas that goes through there. 20% of the world's supply goes through there every day. So now you're talking about fertilizer. You're also talking about food. You're talking about energy. If their food goes up, now we're talking about commodity prices going up. And if it costs more to buy oil than petrodollars and the country's commodity values going down, it creates this double negative impact for them. And over time, people are going to start saying, you know what? We need to start rethinking our relationship with the United States because they started this thing and now our people are starting to revolt and rise up against us. If he does not do something, he being Trump, to get that strait open back up, it's game over. It's game over. And the popularity amongst the world partners are going to start to decline first. And then it's going to happen domestically because our food prices are going to go up. Gas prices are already starting to go up. Our dollar will get stronger at first, but then long term, it's going to go down. It's a huge mess. Your president is in a big quagmire.
I think it is a huge mess, but I don't think about it negatively like that. I think that this is a job that everybody needed to do and no one wanted to do for 40 years. Because the fact is that everyone wants to say this is what the US did, but I'm sorry, this is what Iran did. This has been an absolute black eye on the entire region for 40 years. And no one wants to ever see that or talk about that. And it's exactly the issue with NATO. It's exactly the issue with that, with all those other countries over there. No one ever wants to take accountability for their actions or their problems in their hemisphere. And the fact is that Strait of Hormuz, yeah, you're absolutely right. The Strait of Hormuz could probably stay closed for another, I don't care, 100 days, 90 days, 250 days. To close that son of a bitch for another 10 years. Because here's the reality behind it. The U.S. does not need any oil from that area. The U.S. has plenty of energy here at home. And by the way, just wait till the Venezuela oil starts pumping out of the ground there, because Venezuela has more oil than all the Middle Eastern countries combined. So I don't look at it that way. I look at it as optimal is to keep the strait open so that we have less temporary pain, right? But for long term, the U.S. is sitting.
That's not right, Chris. And the reason why, and I just want to jump in real quick, just to go because the price of oil is international. So if
for now
supply chains go down, oil prices, like Chris. Oil prices are international. It's not. That's not how it works.
I get it.
They're not in individual markets. That won't ever change. The only way that will change is if oil in the U.S. is decoupled from the petrodollar, and then that creates a way bigger mess. It all has to stay connected, because that's the reason why the dollar's currency is the world's currency, because of oil. You can't decouple from that. So go ahead, Chris.
Wait till the balance. What I'm saying is that wait till the balance of supply overwhelms. Look, when everyone stops buying, here's the thing I say, when everyone stops buying oil from all these bad actors and they start buying it from the Western Hemisphere, they start buying it from the US, then it's game over. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing these shifts happen already. Here's the thing. Why do we have to buy, why should we be buying oil? Why do our allies buy oil from the countries they're at war with? Why is that? Why is that okay? Why is it okay? Why is it okay for NATO countries to buy oil from Russia? But then they go, Putin's so evil. He's such a threat to the world. He's attacking Ukraine. But hold on.
Then why did Trump release? He released sanctions on Russia, though. He understands.
You know why? Because Russia's playing ball right now with us. Look, because it'd be like this, Len. Your worst enemy in the world, right? Hold on, Len. Hold on. This is the person who did the most atrocious thing to you in your life. Hold on, Len. I got to take this call from Jimmy. I'm buying his car from him. Would you ever? Hold on a second. You're in the news interview. Putin is so mad. He's such a mean person. Hold on, ABC. Yeah, Vladimir. Yeah, we need 100 million. We need 100 billion barrels. Yeah, 100 billion barrels. Yeah. Send it over. My Secretary of State will sign it. What am I doing right now? I'm going to go to the spa, but right now I'm trashing you on ABC News. All right, cool. I'll see you later. Bye. How is that okay?
They do that all the time, man.
But see, that's the problem. No,
all the time, and then they shake.
But we're not buying anything from them.
But the sanctions.
But Len, we're not buying anything from them.
We're alleviating those sanctions so they can.
Of course. Remember what I said? What's the new alliance? U.S., Russia, China, India, Japan, and then soon the Middle Eastern countries. Look, the old world is out. It's dying. I don't see it that way, Len. I don't see it where all. But I do think we need to get out of it, because people are short-term and they're fickle. Look, the mob is fickle. And the mob in the United States is fickle right now for multiples of reasons. We're aggravated for a lot of reasons. A lot of them is the fact that a lot of the fraud in America, right? That sucks. And a lot of the crazy crap that's going on. But we're tired. People are tired of it. And I don't see that if by the time he exits this thing in the end of May, that's the optimal exit point. But what I don't like is I don't like the rhetoric, Len, where he comes out like this morning, says an entire civilization could die. I don't like that. That's what I don't like, because then we start getting into the World War II type of language where, ethnic cleansing really happened. Because all these people that get up on, the virtue signaling people that talk about, ethnic cleansing, you don't really know what ethnic cleansing is. They don't know about it. They studied it in a history book. But there are certain people that do know about it. Just like there are certain people that know about the atrocities of all these kids in America that think Stalin is a freaking hero and Chairman Mao is a hero and Xi Jinping is this awesome, ultra-realistic figure. No, it's fraud. It's fraud. It's fraud is what it is. It's a fraud.
I believe that.
So if we go back and we look at that, again, Trump doesn't have an easy job. Nobody does. And to be the president of the United States, the thing is I don't agree. I'm probably 60. I don't want to disappoint you that much, Len. I'd probably say I'm probably 60-40 with Trump. So I agree with 60% of the things he does, and I disagree with probably about 40% of the things he does.
Okay. All right.
Right? But see, that's the problem though, because I disagree with 100% of almost 90% of the things that Biden did because they're weak. Trump's not weak. He's not. Now, by the way, I was 60-40 with Obama too, by the way. I agreed with 40% of the things that Obama did. I disagree with 60% of the things Obama did. I think Obama was a pretty good president. And he was in a tough job. Yeah, he was handed a tough job too. He had a country, the economic collapse. He inherited that. He came in maybe on even a natural economic cycle, .com up from the mortgage. He had a difficult situation and the country stayed stable underneath him and came out pretty good. But people like Biden and stuff like that, it's just, there's just no power there.
No, I mean, that's why he wasn't elected the second time. And so
exactly. So Trump is doing what I think Trump is doing. And I think Obama probably wanted to shake up that coalition too. Look, he bombed the shit out of that area. Well, but he knew he couldn't. But because no one wants to get their hands dirty, Len, because here's the thing, Len, whether it's the Strait of Hormuz is closed right now because we're in conflict or war with them, led by Israel, right? Led by Israel, or nothing. The fact is that Iran eventually would have closed that mofo down because they control it. Either by bombing somebody, launching a nuke.
It wouldn't help them.
But how can we allow the massive amounts of human rights violations going on in that country? How can we allow this terrorist organization to keep? That's like going to the doctor and the doctor saying you have stage 1 cancer and you look, yeah, you know what though? I'm going to be diplomatic with it. Leave it alone. It's going to be okay. And then you just let it keep getting bigger and bigger until eventually the cancer kills you. That's what Iran would eventually have done. And then who cares about the Strait of Hormuz? Iran would have took over all those countries in the Middle East. Why do you think they want nuclear weapons? So they can take out all those countries around them and annex them. They're watching Big Brother. Who are they watching? Russia.
That you sound a little like Lindsey Graham, and what he does is he's a war hawk, and he uses.
I'm not saying we need to go to war.
Of what happened. But that's where we're in war. I don't care what anybody calls it. It is not a conflict.
I think it's history repeating itself. Because here's the thing. Eventually that country is going to do something bad. Just like eventually Germany did something bad. Just like eventually every country that comes and takes over crap. Russia annexed all those countries. Russia annexed Crimea. They want to annex Ukraine. Eventually that's going to happen. What I'm saying though, Len, is that the United States needs to be prepared in case that happens, but the United States needs to push the people in that region to do their own stabilizing, and we'll help them out with our resources because we know in the back of our minds, the country as a whole still has PTSD from World War II and World War I. Because if we don't do something about it and World War III does happen, guess who's getting dragged into it? We are.
Well, I'll say this, and I think we should wrap up this topic, which is this. We can make assumptions about what any regime will do. The one assumption, so we can use that as a reason to justify preemptive attacks. And the issue is that if you look at what Iran has done on the world stage, you have the Houthis and you have Hezbollah, who are their proxies. Now, as it relates to being a worldwide aggressor, they haven't shown evidence of that. And so we can always suspect what they could do and use that as justification. The way I look at it is, I'm not suggesting that they are not a regime that inflicts evil in different parts of the world. I'm not suggesting that at all. But what I am saying is that this preemptive attack that just happened, if not taken care of properly, is going to have worldwide repercussions. And the United States is not going to go unscathed. Now, will we recover faster than most countries? Yes. But I believe that in doing this, if it goes wrong, the new world order will forever be shifted, and the United States, at least temporarily, will not be on top of that new world order. And so I hope that the president makes wise choices. But as it stands right now, the evidence is showing very clearly that this war is going to go on past May. This war in Iran is going to keep control of the Strait of Hormuz because they have the leverage now, because they have the justification. The United States and Israel provoked them. And so the world is seeing that. And so because of that, they have the leverage right now. And until the dynamic shift, the United States is going to have to take an L on this one unless they want to keep that strait closed. Because if they don't take an L for Iran, if they decide to do what the United States says, they will cease to exist as a country. And they are a proud country. They're Persia. They're an ancient civilization. They're not just going to tuck their tail between their legs and walk away from this. So the United States can talk all that they want, but we don't have the leverage that they do. And unfortunately, when you have less leverage in this situation, you need to stand down. And I don't see Trump doing that.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a stand down at all. I think it's all or nothing at this point. Yeah. And I think that strait will be open, and I think that Iran is going to be put in its place. I just think that's how it's going to end, because you can't allow them to stay around. You in the capacity that they're at, right? And you cannot be an aggressor like that. I'm sorry.
The only way what you're saying, then boots are going to have to go on the ground. That's the only way to be able to do that. And once that happened, Trump's done. He's done.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to make that happen. And so you're still then
you can't get the strait closed without boots on the ground. There's no way. So then you're of the camp that just be reactionary. Then let's just let them keep doing it and wait for them to kill somebody before we step in, because whatever it is that they're going to do. That's the thing, though, Chris. We don't know what they're going to do.
But we do know the terrorist activities, the atrocities, the genocides, the ethnic cleansings, all the things that country has done, and allow them to continue to stranglehold that part of the world and be an unstable thing, just like North Korea. Just let them keep doing those things, because we'll just ignore it. To me, it's like, I just don't know how you can stand there and allow a bad actor to continue to be a bad actor in your area without taking him out.
Well, Chris,
because how are they harmonizing with anybody? How are they harmonizing with anybody if the United States consistently got up on a state level and said death to whatever country? You don't think that would eventually become inconsiderate, or eventually somebody's going to say, hey, America should stop saying death to Japan or death to whatever? Like, I don't understand how anybody thinks that that's okay. I don't understand how anybody thinks that we can allow that stuff to just continue to keep going on and then go, oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? It's kind of almost like what's going on in the UK right now. They just allowed this mass migration to happen. They have Sharia law in London now. How do you have two conflicting courts in one country? That's what's happening, because people just kowtow and lay down, Lynn. I don't see how there's any way to deal with this situation in Iran other than deal with it now, because we just keep kicking this proverbial can down the road in that area of the world, and it's okay, and then eventually it's not okay. Then eventually we're all staring up on our TVs one day and going, oh my God, Iran just launched a nuclear missile to Israel. What are we going to do? Or we get up and we watch a news report, and again, I'm not trying to fearmonger or warmonger or anything like this, but they have explicitly stated that this is what they want to do. So we're just all supposed to sit here one day, because we got to understand, and I'm not an Israel Israelite Zionist or whatever it is, but we got to understand their perspective and the U.S.'s perspective too. We're just, and by the way, the people that live in that region, we're just going to sit here until one day we look up at the screen and go, all of Israel has been taken out today with all the surrounding areas with a nuclear blast radius this big, and the fallout is this big, and now we're just going to sit around and wait for that to happen because they said they want to do that. So that's why I'm passionate about it but they have said they want to. So when they openly say we are going to annihilate Israel and we kill them and wipe them off the face of the planet and whatever, and by the way, we're building nuclear weapons, you don't think they're going to use those to kill them? Of course they are. It's war. They're an ancient civilization. They still operate as an ancient civilization, just like Sharia law. And people in America that are sympathetic to that crap, we should put them through Sharia law so they could see what it's like. Because half the people in America would be dead today if they were judged on Sharia law. Actually, probably 3/4 of American citizens would be dead if there was Sharia law in America today. So go sympathize with that. That's where I approach it. And I look at it and I go, I don't know, dude, you're screwing it up for all of us. Because if you screw it up for us there with nuclear shit, you're going to screw it up for me here in Texas. And I don't want that. So you know what? Trump, go take them out. That's how I think about it. And I think a lot of people think about that. Now, if they want to play ball and be nice, then cool. But they don't. So when you have someone that could, it's like.
But you don't have any evidence that.
But Len, they say it.
They've been saying this for 40 years.
That's okay, until eventually they have a nuke.
Okay, but now you sound like Netanyahu because he's been saying this since 1995 that there's six weeks away from a nuclear weapon.
I understand that, but nobody thought that Germany was going to be a World War II when World War II and World War I ended in Amistad Day.
People say that he's crazy and he has nuclear weapons. He hasn't used them. I'm not trying to be an Iranian apologist. I'm not.
No, I get that.
But, at the same time, we can't just go and bomb people to oblivion just because they have these thoughts about what they can do. It's just like if you're the big dog and the Chihuahua's barking, like you're not super worried about that.
Okay, but the actions and the merits validated it.
I haven't seen any evidence of that. What evidence do you have of their actions that suggest, except for what they've said, what have they done to
they have violated so many times again the nuclear treaties they signed, the terrorist shit they do. Like it's so and time again. It's that they have violated those things. Don't do this, and they do it. It's like, why do we spend time even contemplating that? And obviously, they had good reason and good measure for it. They did, and then at the same time, you have people violating sanctions to do business through Iran. So it's like, bro,
And that's the thing. And that's the issue, Chris, is that this world is very ugly and people say and do what they want based on their own interests. And that's the United States is not.
So let me ask you this. Fast forward.
Let's wrap up on this one. Yeah.
All right. Let's fast forward. God forbid it did happen. Let's just role play here for a second. Let's war game here for a second. Iran, we do sit here and do nothing. We sit here and do nothing. Trump goes through his term. Trump gets out of office. The world is great. The U.S. economy is booming. Everything is awesome. There's peace, supposedly. We allowed Iran to develop, enrich uranium and build nuclear weapons. They're continually shouting death to the infidels and all the crap that they do and blah, 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 blah. A Democratic president gets in like a Kamala Harris or a Newsom, right? And then all of a sudden, foreign policy changes again. Everything gets soft. And 2 years after Trump goes out of office, and again, I'm just hypotheticals here, Iran launches a nuclear bomb and successfully detonates it over Israel and takes out half the country. And the fallout radius is 100 miles, 50 miles, 100 miles in each direction. What's your reaction now to Iran? What do we do about Iran now?
I'm not trying to avoid it, but I'm saying that's the wrong question. And here's why I say that. Because there is enough intelligence to know to what degree they're enriching their uranium. We have satellites everywhere. And before that, Obama struck a deal with the Iranians to have an international body to perform
And they
inspections
don't allow
on a
it.
regular.
And they violated it and don't
So-
allow the UN inspectors to go in.
Okay. So what I'm suggesting is that I'm not suggesting to do nothing, and I'm not suggesting to go in bombs ablazing. This is how I would approach it. Of course, I have a simplified view because I don't understand all the complexities.
Right.
I'm not a world leader.
We don't know all the information.
Sure. Given the information I have, this is how I would approach it. I think the best way to operate with a bad actor is through diplomacy. And because we have the military might to stop anything they do before it happens, then we use that as our leverage. So this is how the diplomacy looks. It's like, look, we are going to select an agency or country or whatever it is that has the ability to uphold the agreement to hold Iran accountable as it relates to inspections. And so if we find that there are violations of these inspections, or if we find that you are preventing the inspection from occurring on in the first place, then XYZ123 is going to happen, and we are going to unleash, all of our military might on you because you're violating this. Take it or you leave it. Because if you decide not to take it, then we come in, but now you make these negotiations public where people know and they see, okay, this happened. We had these conversations. We used India or Pakistan or some other country as a proxy for negotiations because we both agree with them. And here were the things that were agreed upon. And now Iran stepped outside of it. And here's the proof. We can see these trucks going here. Here's enriched uranium. Okay, now that we all know that it's public, we're going to come back to the table one more time. If you don't stop, we're getting ready to escalate. And that's when you do it that way. So now, could it be more thought out and all of that? I'm saying as a general idea, use diplomacy, make it where the conversations are public. So all of our populations know about it, because when we're talking about nuclear war, it's an existential threat to the entire world. So we do it that way. But keeping a weak milquetoast NATO involved, they can't uphold the law because they can't enforce it. If you don't have an agency that can enforce it, you don't need to even have a rule. And so,
did you call them milquetoast?
Yeah. I mean, it's true. It's true.
But see, Len, I agree with you on the coalition and someone monitoring them and someone enforcing their area of the world. I'm 100% with you there. The problem is that nobody wants to do it. And they sit and we wait until the situation gets to where it is, and they go, oh, don't worry, the Americans are going to step in.
But I think Obama was the closest because he used a diplomatic approach. Now, putting, of, I don't know, $450,000 or $1 million on a plane and deliver it in cash, I would have done it a little bit differently.
Hey, Len, that was some of your cash, bro.
I know I had some of my dollars on one of those pallets, but
how can you not be mad about that?
No, I am. But what I'm saying is that I'd rather have a diplomatic approach, but have it where there's some teeth to an international organization, rather than my kid getting killed over in Iran trying to fight a war for another part of the country. I don't want our people dying, man. And that's too high of a price to pay. Plain and simple.
I agree with you on that. I agree 100% on you. I just think it's frustrating when, again, the simplest way to solve this, and I think, and then, we could wrap up here today, is very simple. It's very easy. Those folks in that area of the world, those countries, those leaders need to step up and be leaders.
I agree.
And they need to govern each other in those areas of the world because
they would need our help militarily because they don't have the military might that Iran has. That's just now. Now that their military has been degraded, I think that's the case. So this would be the time for them to step up.
Guess what? America is open for business. We will gladly build because here's what we have proven. If you are buying military equipment from China,
we got it to sell.
Or Russia, you're fooling yourselves because we already know we could decimate anybody's technology on the world militarily. So
that's true.
Guess what? America, baby, is open for business. And we will gladly sell you whatever it is that you want. And by the way, because we know we have kill switches on everything we sell you, right? But see, that's the problem, Len, is our allies are so stuck up because, again, they're all patriarchs and they're all want to be freaking monarchs all day long. Right? That they go, we're not going to buy it from the U.S. We're going to buy from Russia.
Well, I think that
so if there was a coalition
going to unfold what happens and how everything gets shaken up because the way that Trump has treated his allies has been a little bit less than stellar. So
hey, look, we've gained allies. Putin's lost allies.
No doubt. That's true. So
I mean, so everybody says he's the biggest thing. We'll see how it all shakes out. But here's what I do know. Look, America is strong, and let's be proud about and thankful for the things that we have. But at the same time, let's not forget the bigger picture, and that is staying patriotic and making sure that you're being a good citizen in your community. A good citizen.
I could not agree with you more. And I think the most patriotic act is to hold a country accountable to uphold and maintain its ideals. I think that's the most 100%. Patriotic thing you could do.
100%. So with that being said, Len, want to go ahead and lead us out today?
Well, no, go ahead. You got it, man.
All right. Well, again, always a pleasure having these conversations. Although I know that, like I said, I was overstimulated in the beginning. There's a lot. We can go back to that. But look, if you like this type of content or you are looking for comments, feedbacks, we're always looking for that. Go ahead and share it, like it, subscribe it, share it with somebody. Or again, the goal here is to have a conversation. We are not experts at any of this stuff. We are just having an open conversation about how it affects us in our current world, just as ordinary everyday citizens of the United States, people, friends, business partners. So wives, kids, family, people leading families. And that, I think, is the ability for you and I to have real conversations and have discourse. And then at the end of the day, we understand that the one thing is still the one thing is that we're Americans and we're here to have safe neighborhoods, be prosperous, and take care of each other. So with that being said, Len, I always respect and appreciate our time today. It's a great one. I'll see you on the next one, sir. Have a great afternoon.
Have a good one.
Conversation has given you clarity on your next steps. Please share this episode with someone who's walking the same path. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss future episodes. And remember, planning ahead isn't just prudent, it's an act of care. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on The Family Office.